Hey everyone, it's Darren Benson with Performance Motor Coaches. I'm going to do a video of an available 2025 Renegade XL. We're at our property up here on the north side of Indiana, or the north side of Elkhart, Indiana here in Michigan. Two things for certain: it's hot, I'm sweaty, and the humidity really makes my fro get up. So we got the air conditioners going, got the generator going, because we don't want to sweat too much in the video. So we'll try to make it quickly as possible outside. Another thing I wanted to do, we generally do all of our videos with the slides in and then show you what they look like when we go inside with the slide outs in. We're going to kind of reverse it so you can see what the slide outs look like outside, exterior wise, whenever they are pushed all the way out. So the chassis itself is a Cascadia 126, a little bit longer hood Cascadia. It's a 600 horsepower coupled with the DT12 transmission. I've pushed hard for this transmission, and I think the last numbers, originally whenever I became a Renegade dealer in 2020, we were probably, 10, 15, 20% DT transmission, and that number has almost kind of flipped around to the Allison. It's my preferred transmission. Most people will feel the same way once they get out and drive them. They're a little jerky off the line. Done a lot of videos kind of talking about those, but not the point of the video, but definitely my preferred chassis itself. So 24 was a big remodel for the XL. They did elevated front and rear caps to kind of match all your awning profiles. So a very sexy looking coach in my opinion. They made it standard with the stainless. I wanted something more traditional as a stock unit, so I wanted to keep a lot of what the product was born with and not change everything up like I seem to always do. I think sometimes the manufacturer might get a little frustrated as I change things up. I want to change it. So I wanted to keep as much as I possibly could. I'll kind of talk about what varied in 2025. So the Solstice paint job, it's kind of been the #1 paint job, but the Solstice would normally have a greenish blue stripe there. We changed that out. We've done that several times and people have really liked that. So it kind of classes up what I call, or kind of classes up the Solstice paint scheme. People like white, gray, silver, so it kind of brought everything in together. So stainless would be standard. Stainless baggage doors will be standard as well. Baggage compartment latches. We kept all that stuff from the factory. For somebody who wanted to order one, if you don't like the stainless, we can order it without stainless. We can do black. Lots of options there, and then same for the baggage handles. We can do black or the stainless there. Outdoor TV is standard. Big AquaHot 600 will be standard as well. They refined 2025s from the 2024s quite a bit, so a lot of things standard. Solar is standard. Heat tile floors are standard. 4 lithium batteries are also standard. So the dual Girard rooftop awnings there. Changed the scene lights. I like those a little bit better, a little bit cleaner, and they direct the light downwards a little bit. You can see kind of the smaller version there, the porch light, but this nice scene light or security lights. So nice 3/4 pass through underneath there, good for larger items, ladders, things of that nature to be able to go in. Starting 2025, central vac became standard as well. There's a 110 plug there. We try to put 110 plugs in every single compartment down this to be able to plug anything in you might want to plug in. The nice Gen Y hitch setup, very convertible, lots of different things you could do with it. Flat tow, tow larger trailers. This assembly right here as it sits is rated at 30,000 pounds. You do have camera plug, you do have a hitch cam, and then you have reverse lights down low. So really sexy looking back cap, and I really like that new hitch cam just to kind of class it up a little bit. The cameras on the side and the back, they're all a 360 camera system setup. So it does have a buddy plug inside and a 110 plug there up on the right. 12.5 Onan generator is standard. It doesn't slide out, but the mechanism itself, you can take 2 bolts loose and then be able to slide it out. So all live axles, all these trucks, people use the term tags. These are not tags. These are live axles. They are true tandem axle. You can activate the front axle left to right, and then you can activate the rear axle as well if you get in some some sticky splite. So standard from the factory will be this setup right here. It does have the nice sea level monitoring. You can check all your tank levels. They changed the water filter assembly a little bit as well for 2025. Don't think it'll clog up nearly as fast. There is a heated hydronic register within this. The Aquat 600 is actually a 3-zone system, and so you have a dedicated zone strictly for your wet bay here. We do have the lights underneath the slides and the coach itself. Color changing, 75-gallon gray and black. You have a macerator system in there. Kind of my favorite bay of the coach. So that'll be standard from the factory. So 4 lithium, 270 amp hour batteries there. The dual inverters there on the left, and then that big giant deal up top is a solar controller. So they have included 5 panels from the factory on these guys. So trying to utilize as much real estate up top, but you can see the size of the wire in and out of the solar panels, not quite what you have in the inverter. So it does a good job, but it simply will not keep up if you're running your air conditioner. So chassis batteries in there, and you do have a quick disconnect to be able to air up a tire. Keep in mind that really only run up to about 120 PSI, so if you need anything more than that, you'll have to do something like an auxiliary setup, but get you out of a jam. Just done something with this. 120-gallon fuel tank. It feels really nice right there. It gets hot and steamy out here. They also did heated and cooled seats for 2025, so pretty proud of that. Still not my favorite ISRI seat, but they wanted to kind of mimic the rest of the Villa furniture, and they are true leather. So let's go inside and cool off a little bit. We can add all kinds of different stuff there at the dealership. We do black grills, we do grill guards, we do complete bumper replacements, lots of different things we could do to these things inside and out. Why don't you go in and then I'll do the door.
Fabulous.
So, very beautiful coach. One thing that I've been pushing for were the large picture windows. From 24 to 25, they actually did a wider window. So it went from a 48-inch window to a 54-inch wide window. I turned the fans down just to not have so much noise in here. Maybe make it a little bit more bearable to hear me. So really like having the big picture windows. You do have the option to have that one as an opening window. Actually, that'll be standard. Technically, you could divide these windows up and do lower portion that opens. I just like to be able to see out, have that full vision all the way out of all that jazz over there. They'll kind of flip-flop around. There again, the large picture window over here makes it nice, very open, airy feeling. This is Cape Cod stain. It doesn't photograph very well, so this is definitely a tan tone stain. The number 2 stain is Rockport's more of a gray tone, but this does a great job going tan or gray, so kind of keep that in mind. Most of the colors, the modern style is typically not straight gray or straight tan. It's kind of the mold and mesh of your tans and grays, so looks really nice. Basically a gray toned. This is all Villa leather furniture. We've got the televator there. They've actually gone away from the remote, so you have to go through the Firefly to be able to fire up the TV up and down. So standard will be this nice true induction cooktop, and then these guys right here. If you wanted that not recessed, that would be an option. So they did listen to me, because I got a little fired up, and I didn't like the fact of having all this stuff, not having a home for this stuff. So basically you've got this guy, and then we can take and put this in here. We can put different things. It's like a little pegboard, and at the very least the kids can go, we could almost play checkers in here if we took and painted those. So nice setup to be able to accommodate whether you're talking this, whether you're talking different pots and pans, so you don't hear them, shake and rattle while you're driving down the road. Another thing, big fan of. I knew it was going to be heavy, so they went ahead and put the dual drawer glides on there. One, to keep it in, two, to kind of keep it stable as well. Happy that they did accommodate to do a little bit bigger drawer, because prior to, you just didn't have a lot of space to be able to put larger pots and pans. So cool setup there. And if you don't like this, you can take it out, give it to your grandkids, and all this will come out. So you just would have a big drawer. So you don't have to live with that if that's what you don't want to live with. But happy that they did listen to kind of make things, give it a home. Got to have a home. So a little bit different faucets for 2025. This guy, it actually seems a little bit different than what I've typically seen. They've always been chrome. The rest of the hardware is chrome, but I'm happy to see this. I just wonder if they're messing with me doing that one, doing the brush versus the chrome, but I'm happy to have it. It was a little, the chrome faucets were, I wouldn't even say flashy. They were, it's like it was an antique that we chromed. So take that for what it is. So there again, I just kept this as a AV setup right here. If you're like, Darren, you got to get rid of this. You got to get me a drawer. You got to get me a solid face. We can do that. The idea there is any of your satellite there would go in, but not a problem to take and change that out if somebody wants that. Different profiles as well. So you people that have ordered from me kind of heard me complain. This was a relatively thin panel in 24. And whenever you close the door, you could hear that panel make a little bit of racket, a little bit of noise. And lo and behold, was kind of pushed in. We did a few different cabinet styles for 24 model customers. Technically you could, but it's nice to have just kind of cleaned up the product a little bit. You didn't have the big pronounced edge, and you didn't have this panel that made a little bit of racket. And we actually did a 24 model customer with this panel. So I think it was a good answer to what had been previously designed out there on the market. Your dual drawer awning controls up top. One thing that I like on this particular floor plan on the XL, so if this is a CMR, this is a classic, the cabinet goes all the way top to bottom. I guess if you're trying to kind of hide from the, I was going to say something bad. If you're trying to hide from somebody that you don't want to find you, the CMR is nice because it has this full length cabinet right here. If I can get back to Texas, I want to put this and a CMR right next to each other and go coach to coach and talk about kind of the differences there. But just a matter of preference. So it feels a little bit more open right here on the XL versus the CMR Classic. So open these guys up, just kind of you see what we got. So all dovetail drawers. They've always done a phenomenal job in the way of all their cabinetry, double L. Come standard with these guys. Bring them back up. So all of the XLs will have an aero cap, no option for any kind of a bunk over, so accommodates a few less people. So it's not necessarily the right coach, it's more about your preference. Do you need that overhead sleeping either for actual sleeping, or if you need to be able to pop a kid up there. So actually I actually have it set up for some of your satellite stuff to go there versus there, so it's an override switch right here. They used to house all kinds of switches in there, so it's kind of funny to see. If you looked at a coach 10 years ago, it's full of switches and all kinds of different panels, and now you got the little guy in there. Starlink. I've been looking for the Starlink, was glad to find the Starlink. I kept on opening up and say, there's a Starlink. So they do not do the Starlink router. They do the little Teton router. The Teton router does have a SIM card, so if you don't want to utilize any of the Starlink, just put a SIM card in there. Or if you want both, if you want to be able to do satellite and cell-based. The nice thing is they have network cables that run to all of the Firefly operating system, so that is no longer Bluetooth. That's actually an internet-enabled device. So I can turn the, if I know you're logging on your coach, I can turn your air conditioner on and off while you're far, far away. So keep that in mind. nice cab layout. I didn't want to go into the cab, but other than just it really hadn't changed. They changed this up. They used to have a ball mount, and a lot of those ball mounts were breaking. And lo and behold, they changed up, and so you don't have to worry about the ball mount breaking. It does cover this. There's got a little, that would normally be where your CarPlay would go, with your wired CarPlay. They take and swap that down, but still, a good looking setup. So that can be removed for your passenger to be able to operate GPS. You do have TomTom GPS that is enabled from Freightliner. A little antiquated, but just kind of a matter of preference there. The seats do turn around. Like I said, they are heated and cooled. Villa theater seats. Look at this, guys. They did a good job. So this is the step cover right here. I didn't know what to think about it whenever I was like, do we turn into a cornhole? But it's nice to have to be able to cover that up, and definitely kind of the, especially for the guys that have been with Renegade. A lot of those guys have been there 20 plus years. So I think it holds a lot of sentiment to those guys, because they've been there so long, to be able to see that and give that to customers and say, this is something we've given to you. This is something that means a lot to us. So kind of at first I didn't know what to think about it, but now I understand, and I understand the idea back behind it. And like I said, a lot of the hearts of the guys have been there 20 plus years. So fixed dinette in all of the XLs versus a convertible dinette in your classics. There again, kids or no kids. And now you do use Cambria quartz. So it is a man-made quartz, but a little bit higher and a little bit harder than the LG solid surface. So bespoke refrigerator here. You can email your cousins on this thing, I'm pretty certain. Lots of different functions and features, and you can actually take these panels and change all the panels here. We probably get Wayne's World all on the front of this guy right here. We have some people that don't like this, that want just regular stainless, so we can accommodate that. If you like the classic refrigerator, we can take and put that in here. A little bit larger screen for 2025 as well. That one thing that I was a fan of, they had the display, so your Victron kind of lets you know what's going on here. State of charging, a bit more advanced, and just not that many people will look in here. The issue was the touch panel. Whenever you had it connected far away with the HDMI cable, about freezing up. So I'll kind of clean that up a little bit. A few more functions and features, and like I said, it does have the Eclipse, which is a internet-enabled device. So back in comparisons, a little bit tighter in here, just due to the fact that you have a rear cap, and they took a few inches out of the center of this coach, so they changed this up. So this cabinet would be a little bit bigger in a classic versus the XL, so a matter of preference, but there's still a fair amount of room. Lots of room for all of your cans, So all electrical down here. So one panel for all of your house, one panel for all of your gen and shore, and then another for your inverter. And previously they had the little servo touch monitor right up there. Stacked washer dryer, nothing too fancy to look at, but a little bit nicer hardware to get this guy all the way open. And then I will take and plop in the half bath here. Chrome, anytime I see chrome, I have to wipe off any fingerprints on the chrome. So chrome faucet in here as well, chrome there. It's like we'll just give everybody linen gloves to wear so you don't get any fingerprints. But plenty of room, all convertible shelving. Decent little storage underneath there as well. So this, it does have the standard setup right here, which is a little bit different. Backsplash in your kitchens versus your bath, and then also I'll take and show that to you in the very back. So people that have seen my videos in the past, we did a lot of king size beds, and they really, I think my guys did a phenomenal job at taking these things and modifying to accommodate a king size bed. Renegade wanted to be able to offer a king size bed from the factory and not have the dealer take and cut these all up. So they just basically tapered this. They moved the electrical inside, which is what we did in the past. So nice to have that, and your ledge up there. So basically raise it up a little bit. It's a little tight. You can see where the mattress comes in just a little bit, but it does accommodate a 72-inch wide bed as opposed to 66. So worst case scenario, when you go to make the bed, jerk it out, throw everything on there, shove it back in. Storage above here, and we do have a 110 plug back in there for any kind of CPAP. We've done several little through ports there for somebody who might need it or want it. And then all your window shades back here, they're electric, but they just do this guy right here, so you don't have to contend with a remote while you're trying to sleep, whether you wake up in the morning. It does have the Firefly control there to be able to turn your lights on and off. And you do have all these windows can be open, so you get a little bit of cross breeze through there. So nice open setup right here. I was hoping, because they are actually about to change these and do 2 drawer setups here, as my understanding it was going to be from the factory, no option, but I've been pushing for some drawer sets right here. A lot of people that have had this added to their coaches, their previously built coaches, most people will do some drawers right there, but still a ton of room, and it does have the cedar lined closet. Sound bar there, so you have a sound bar in all locations, and you can Bluetooth to that, so you can listen to any of your music, whether it's an app-based system. There again, an AV center there with all the remotes. A little bit upgraded carpet for 2025. Just kind of a classier carpet. When we can get away from carpet in the slide box completely, I don't know, but it's not now. Maybe next year. Maybe next year. So let's take a flip flop around here. I apologize. A little bit more room between. Maybe we can figure out a way to put like a 50-gallon water tank there in the middle or something like that, or a big safe. So a little bit wider bed base here. Everything's really easy to get to. Dump your water as well, and then any kind of winterization, you pull that clear tube out. It makes it incredibly handy to do that. We do have it prepped for a shower miser, so all of our coaches, we will spec with a little piece of PEX that goes there, and then back inside the wall there to be able to take and install that after the fact. I have to find some more. Note to self. So if you'll see all of the like the AC treatments, and then the little center treatment there, that is all standard. It is kind of a white stainish paint, so a little bit. The idea is to kind of contrast the stain itself. So, and it also covers up that, so you can see up here, all 3 air conditioners have that. I don't know if it really quiets them down much at all, but kind of gives it a little bit classier look. So a few different locations, you'll see the little touch panel there instead of just a regular switch panel. A few more options or menus to be able to kind of scroll through there. So take and pop in here. They changed this up. They don't have any kind of strip anymore. They just did a contrasting wall here, which I think is a good look. Kind of there again, just kind of cleans things up. Does have the tile, so it would be an option here for the floor, and then technically this would be an option as well. Happy to see this little inset for 2025 instead of the little corner jobby. There again, kind of just makes the product look a little bit better. So if somebody didn't want this, that needed to be able to conserve water, these, we've used several coaches with this, and they definitely do use a fair amount of water. Always put a shower miser in there. You would have to have another little valve there, but it's relatively easy to take and install. We've not done any additional shower niches. We've talked about doing something else because people always seem to have a lot of it. I think this might need to be changed just a little bit, have a little bit deeper, because with the way I drive, the conditioner is going to be down here. You get a little wild and crazy, so I think they need to be changed up and just get a little bit deeper. And then there is a little weep hole, so I was happy to see that. A little weep hole there and there, so you don't have to worry about having, you know, water collecting inside there. So big one-piece mirror instead of any kind of cabinets. That's been standard. We do an additional 110 plug underneath there. And so technically, as far as backsplashes, you could essentially choose any single backsplash as long as it's in-house, as long as they built in a Classic or an XL. You can take and change that. You could do kind of whatever you might want to after the fact. I'm sorry, not after the fact, but as a custom sold order. Well, definitely impressive. The product has continued to evolve. Just small little things to kind of accommodate customers. The colors were very, very solid from the very first 2024 XL. The additional ceiling height was night and day. Big difference going from 23 to 24. I was not a fan of the product prior to. In fact, we didn't even offer that product because I just couldn't wrap my mind around having a little bit lower ceiling height. And getting this larger ceiling height, people walk in and they're just so impressed, especially people that have RV'd a long time. You don't see any ceiling height like this unless you're say in a fifth wheel. You don't really see that in motorized items. So very cool setup. Appreciate the guys continue to evolve the product, to listen to the to the consumers and to me. We continue to sell more and more Renegades, definitely off these videos. And in general, there's been a huge push from diesel pushers to the truck world because they continue to kind of make them a little bit more refined, a little bit nicer. Listen to the customer, better built units, lower chances of warranty claims. So I think in the next few years, it'll be interesting to see what happens. Somebody's going to have to really work exceptionally hard to be able to come up against Renegade as far as putting everything all together. We hear it all the time from guys that either trade their pushers in or trying to trade them in. People are seeking out this product. I don't really think you're having people dumping this product and going back into buses. Just simplicity. I don't care how much you have. When things break, it ruins your vacation. And unfortunately, the more money you make, the worse it is kind of a sting to have. Well, it's not a fair statement, but at the end of the day, when things break, it doesn't really matter. It ruins your vacation, no matter if you make a lot of money, a little bit of money. So that's what's nice about selling this product. We do have some problems, but we can generally work through them. I think this is probably our last stock coach for a few weeks. We have several coaches we've sold there at the dealership. Like I said, this one will be there and the CMR, and we got one left, Explorer. So we'll kind of start back up right after the Hershey RV show. I think that's where most of our coaches. So last little lull, give us an opportunity to get that coach ready. It's going to be a show hauler, so we'll be with show hauler there. But if somebody wants to kind of talk about products in general, feel free to let me know. I'll be happy to spend some time with you, talk about this, talk about that, regardless of what product it is. So keep that in mind. Let it cool down a little bit. I'll get a haircut by the time I shoot the next video. Make sure you guys always keep on coming back. We really appreciate it. Check out our website, pmcrv.com. Make sure you guys like, tag, and subscribe.